It's the Grim Reaper here, and today, even though lawyers ain't no joke, we're gonna do some lawyer jokes, stuff that makes you laugh about the legal profession. You know what Shakespeare said, first we kill all the lawyers. Okay, now these are actual statements that were made and replies in some cases by witnesses in real court cases, to show you how smart and tricky these lawyers can be. Now, doctor, tell me, isn't it true, if a person would die in his sleep, he would be sleeping, he would not know he was dead until the next morning? Is that not true? Now, Mr. Miller, your youngest son, the 20-year-old, how old is that boy? Well, just to clarify things, were you present when your picture was taken? Present? Yeah. Were you alone, or were you by yourself? We thank you for your service. Was it you or your younger brother who was killed in the war? My younger brother. Did he kill you in the war? No, he did not. Well, Mr. Jones, I understand you were driving perfectly safely, not violating any laws, but could you tell me how far apart were the vehicles when the collision occurred? Pardon? At the time of the collision, how far apart were the vehicles? 0 feet. They were hitting each other. So you claim that you couldn't have done this because you were visiting your Aunt Mabel, correct? And let me ask you this. Were you there until you left? That is true. Because the mental capacity of the witness, I'd like to ask this question. How many times have you committed suicide? So ma'am, the date of conception of the baby was August 8th. Is that correct? Yes. And what were you doing at that time? You already had 3 children. Am I right about that? Yes. And how many of them were boys? None. And how many were girls? So your testimony is that you left the kitchen and went downstairs to the basement. You say the stairs went down to the basement, correct? Yes. Did those stairs also go up? Yes. Now, Mr. Slarity, talking about your finances, you went on a rather elaborate honeymoon, didn't you? Well, we went to Europe for a month. And you took your new wife with you? Yes, I did. And let me ask you this. How was your first marriage terminated? By death. And by whose death was it terminated? Not mine. Well, you're the only eyewitness to the crime. Can you describe the individual to the court? Well, he had brown hair. He was a white fella, about medium height. He had a big beard, big big beard, like Santa Claus, but not white. Was this a male or a female? I would consider you a hostile witness, Mr. Peterson. Is your appearance here this morning pursuant to a deposition notice which I sent your attorney? No, sir. I always dress like this when I go to court. Now, as a county coroner, I'm sure you performed many autopsies. Is that correct? Thousands. And how many of these autopsies have you performed on dead people? All my autopsies on dead people. I understand your problem with deafness, but you cannot testify before this court using sign language this morning, as we have no interpreter, so all of your answers will have to be oral. Do you understand? Oral. Okay. What college did you go to? Oral. So, going back to the Thompson autopsy, do you recall the time that you autopsied that body? Yes, it was on a Thursday at 6:37 p.m. And Mr. Thompson was dead at the time? Oh no, he was sitting up on the table, you know, and he was saying to me like, "Why are you doing an autopsy? I'm not dead yet." No, he was dead. So during the time of this road rage incident, this fracas, you were shot in the fracas? No, I was shot between the fracas and my navel. And are you qualified to give a urine sample? It's one of the first things I ever did. Now, Mr. Coroner, Doctor, before you performed the autopsy, did you check for a pulse? No, I didn't. Mm-hmm. Well, did you check for blood pressure? No. Did you check if the patient was like breathing or anything like that? No, I didn't. Mm-mm. So then it is possible that the patient was alive when you started to perform the autopsy? No. Well, how can you be so sure if you never checked, doctor? Because his brain was sitting on my desk in a jar, pickled. Ah, but could the patient have still been alive nevertheless? Well, I suppose it is possible that he could have been alive and, you know, been practicing law someplace as a top-notch lawyer.